Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, let's move on. The podcast moves on. So we're going to talk about the New England Patriots. So if this is your first time watching, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts on their season coming up is. The Patriots had a really surprising year last year. They went 14-3. They lost in the Super Bowl. So give me your favorite move that they made this offseason, Avery.
They got rid of their number one receiver to get a number one receiver that can show up in the playoffs. I think that's been Stefon Diggs' biggest flaw. Patriot fans can attest to it. Bills fans can attest to it. So can Vikings fans if they ever made the playoffs with him. But he just doesn't show up. So A.J. Brown, even though he might be a locker room disturbance, he shows up. He can perform when it matters. And I think getting that number one guy for Drake May opens up more space for that offense.
Yeah, totally agree. I had him down. Good point, by the way, like that he'll show up. I think like he'll be fine the first 2 to 3 years, and then maybe he might become, just like some receiver. Like Randy Moss was the same way. Like he'd be good for a couple of years. I also like that they added Dobbs. We'll see if he can stay healthy, but like again, like you're just surrounding Drake May with a bunch of weapons. So I do like that they have a couple of different options for him, but A.J. Brown, like you mentioned, is the key piece. So
yeah, it's what you want to see with a quarterback that you want to see progression from is you add talent and weapons around him.
yeah, agreed. Give me your least favorite move.
It's got to be the coach, right? Like all the
Oh yeah.
offseason scandals, everything that happened with Coach Vrabel and Diana Rossini. How does that play into the locker room, and how do
Mm.
those players answer to the call that he gives to them?
Yeah.
That's the way
Yeah.
that I feel about it. I could see that being a locker room disturbance in itself. When you got a guy at the top who's having so many issues within his own family, how does that trickle down to the 53rd man on the roster?
I agree. I mean, that's a big one. That I'm curious to watch because like the noise has to affect the locker room in some way. But also, I will say, if for some reason Vrabel, who I felt like a good coach, right? If he's able to somehow drown that noise out, he might be better than what we expect. So we'll see um, uh, how that turns out. I have one. Let's see here. I just wanted to make sure. So I just have, I like pass rushers, and this is sort of a small, because I tried to find one for each one. So this is a small nitpick. Is Kaysion? He had 7.5 sacks late. Kavion Kayson. They lost him to the Commanders last year. He had 7.5 sacks, which was the second most on the team, and he only signed like a 1 year deal with the Commanders, and it wasn't for a whole lot. So I'm just like, like I don't know why they let him go to get a pass rusher. I mean, to keep their pass rush strong. But again, that's a small nitpick because it was only like 7.5 sacks, and you might be able to find someone to replace that. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to our green weapon. Sorry, green flag, or what we're excited about for the Patriots. I'll,
For me, it's the progression of what we see in Drake May.
that's what
Obviously,
I have
last
there.
year, everybody thought he was an MVP candidate, given the schedule that they had was weak. Everybody would admit that. But being able to see the way that he could read a defense and find first, second, third option, I think seeing that progress to this year and get better and better is what everybody's going to look for. And I think he'll get better even still.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's going to be the most exciting thing. I also think their defense is still going to be like top notch. I don't, it's going to be top 10. It's going to be a good defense. Uh, both those things going for the Patriots. Give me your red flag or your concerns going into the season.
I already kind of threw the beacon out there, but their schedule from last
Hmm.
year in NFL history was one of the easiest of all time. They now have a first place schedule. Even though last year they performed with a weak schedule, how can they do this year now that they're playing other teams that finished first in their division? Now they made it to the Super Bowl. They beat teams they were supposed to beat, but how do they fare this year with a tougher schedule is the biggest thing that I'm worried about for that team.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I wrote down. They played three. top defenses last year, but two of them were Browns and Steelers, and their offenses weren't great, so it's not like there was much there. They played three playoff teams last year. They have to play eight this year. They played two top quarterbacks, I should say, last year. They have to play six this year. So like you said, what their schedule is quite a bit harder than it was last year. So,
Yep, it'll be a test.
yeah, I agree. Yep. Fantasy football go-to for you.
Drake May is probably like QB 7 or 8, I feel like is a pretty fair ADP from where he's at. And then I would take Hunter Henry in a late round tight end flyer.
Okay, I like it. I would also say if you're one of those guys who like to draft a defense and just kind of forget it, Bills, we'll talk about it when we get to the Bills, but the Bills and Patriots are two defenses that I'd get because they play the Dolphins and Jets twice a year. So I think their
Yep.
defenses will be good, but also you get four easy matchups in the year. So I would also consider drafting the Patriots defense.
I think too, for those guys who like to draft a running back and then draft their handcuff, you could do that with Stevenson and their second back. I think they'll split the carries pretty evenly. But I wouldn't want to draft just one of them and keep them on a roster. Neither of them should be RB1, 2, or 3 on your roster.
Yeah, I like that. So if you draft Stevenson, draft Travion Henderson too. Yeah, agreed. Okay, let's predict their season. They are 10.5 over-unders.
I'll just barely take the over. I have them at 11-6, a little bit of regression. I still have them as a pretty good team, playoff team, with 11 wins.
Okay, I have a little bit of a regression as well. I went 10-7, so we're right by each other. You went a little over, I went a little under, but I think that's right where they'll be.
Yep.
They should get 4 easy wins.
Good.
So let's talk. Okay, so before we move on to the Dolphins, thanks everybody for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel and leave your comments down below and tell us what we got right and wrong for the Patriots season and give us your predictions. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.